Praise the Lord, everyone. Brother Rup here. We are in the book of Acts, chapter 10, verse 2. We just started the story of Cornelius, that great man of God who just happened to be a Gentile and who will usher in the Gentile people into the Christian church. Verse 2, it reads, "A devout man and one that feareth God with all his house, which gave much alms to the people and prayed to God always." As you see, the sun is shining on my Bible. Hope that's okay. It's a beautiful morning out. Blue skies, sunny, about 65 degrees. It's beautiful out. Anyway, devout man, talking about Cornelius, that great Gentile. He's a Roman centurion. He was commanding 100 soldiers there at Caesarea. Caesarea was a Roman-built port. Romans and Greeks lived there with some Jews. It was an important port for the Romans. It was the only good, decent port in Israel. There was one in Joppa, but it's not a very good port. The port that the Romans built at Caesarea was small, but modern in that day. It was an enclosed port, beautifully done. If you look at pictures of it back in the day, it was a very beautiful port. Beautiful city the Romans built there. And 100 men. It wasn't that large of a city. It was, in that day, it was considered a pretty decent city, but compared to today, it'd be a small town. It was not a whole lot of people living there. But a lot of rich people were living there. People who made their money off of shipping, and they built large houses in the city. And that's why 100 Roman soldiers were stationed there to protect the wealthy merchandisers who lived there, Romans and Greeks and probably some Jews. But anyway, Cornelius was worshiping Yahweh, Jehovah, which he may not be the only one, and wasn't that shocking because a lot of people back then believed that each region of the earth, or each country, had their own gods that controlled that territory. Just like man controlled territory of land, they believed that gods did the same thing. That man was just reciprocating what the gods were doing in the spirit realm. And of course, we know today that's not true at all, but that's what people believed back then. So Cornelius, being stationed in Israel, it's not too shocking he would want to worship the Israel God. He was very devout, very religious man, believed in a supernatural. With all of his house, meaning his wife, children, and servants, that would contain his entire house. So he worshipped Jehovah, and his whole house did. And he gave much alms, meaning he gave to charities. He gave to poor people in the countryside. It shows that not only was he a devout man, he was a good man too. And that's probably why God chose him to usher in the Gentile people into the church. He freely gave, and he was a soldier, so he didn't make a whole lot of money. But he was very generous with what he did receive. And it just shows what a tremendous man Cornelius was. A very tremendous man. I'd like to meet him someday. He probably endured some criticism for worshiping Yahweh, instead of the Roman gods or the Greek gods, because a man in his position would usually try to make himself look good in front of the wealthy Romans and wealthy Greeks who lived in town. Cornelius chose not to. Chose to worship Jehovah instead. That says a lot about his character. Tremendous man. That's verse 2. Next time, verse 3. Brother Roop out.